Look at your hand. Look at the device you're watching this on. Have you ever wondered what they're actually made of? Over 2,000 years ago, thinkers like Acharya Kanada in India and Democritus in ancient Greece pondered the exact same question. They imagined a thought experiment. If you take a piece of matter and divide it over and over again, eventually you'll hit a wall, a particle so incredibly small it simply cannot be broken any further. Kanada called these ultimate particles parmenus. The Greeks gave them a name you might find a bit more familiar, atomos, meaning indivisible. But for the next 2 millennia, this concept lived entirely in the realm of philosophy. It was an elegant idea, waiting for the physical tools of modern science to prove it was real. The waiting ended in 1808. An English chemist named John Dalton took those ancient thought experiments and backed them up with scientific observation. Dalton proposed a formal atomic theory, framing the atom as the foundational building block of the universe. In his model, these tiny spheres were indestructible, impossible to break into smaller pieces. Skeptical pause. It was a brilliant theory, but was it actually true? Could this tiny, solid sphere hide something even smaller inside? Dalton provided the starting line for modern chemistry. His model gave scientists a concrete baseline to test, poke at, and eventually shatter, proving that science moves forward by challenging what was previously accepted as settled fact. By 1897, the indestructible sphere was in trouble. Physicist J.J. Thomson conducted an experiment that cracked the atom wide open. Thomson took a vacuum-sealed glass tube, pumped in gas at a very low pressure, and applied a massive jolt of high-voltage electricity. Immediately, a glowing beam shot across the tube. He called these cathode rays. Thomson's magnetic tests revealed the rays were made of physical matter, incredibly tiny, negatively charged fragments tearing away from the atoms themselves. He had discovered the electron. This discovery created an immediate math problem. We know atoms are electrically neutral. If atoms contain these negatively charged electrons, there had to be a positive charge somewhere inside to balance it all out. Thomson proposed a new model. He imagined the atom as a sphere of positive charge, with the negative electrons stuck inside it. Think of it like a watermelon. The red, fleshy pulp is the positive charge, and the black seeds scattered throughout are the electrons. The watermelon model moved science past the concept of a solid, empty brick, revealing an interior populated by smaller components. A few years later, in 1911, a scientist named Ernest Rutherford decided to put Thomson's watermelon model to the test. Working with his team, Rutherford set up what is now known as the gold foil experiment. He fired a narrow beam of heavy, positively charged alpha particles straight at an impossibly thin sheet of gold leaf. Because Thomson's model suggested the positive charge was softly spread out like a pudding, Rutherford expected the heavy alpha particles to punch right through. Most of them did, but against every prediction, a few particles violently ricocheted straight back. The results forced 2 massive realizations. First, because the vast majority of particles sailed through without hitting a thing, most of an atom is actually completely empty space. Second, the few particles that did bounce back must have collided with something incredibly dense. Rutherford deduced that all the positive charge and almost all of the atom's mass is crammed into a microscopic point at the very center, the nucleus. He proposed a planetary model, suggesting that the nucleus sits in the center like a sun, while the tiny electrons orbit around it in the vast empty space. Think about what this means. The walls around you, the ground beneath your feet, the solid matter you interact with every single day is a structural illusion. It's almost entirely empty space held together by tiny, dense points of mass. Rutherford's model was brilliant, but it had a fatal flaw, according to the laws of physics. An electron constantly circling a nucleus would bleed off energy, spiral inwards, and eventually crash into the center. The atom would collapse entirely. Since the universe obviously hasn't collapsed into a puddle of crashed atoms, something was missing. Enter the physicist Niels Bohr. Bohr realized that electrons don't just float randomly. They are locked into fixed, stable energy levels, specific orbital paths around the nucleus that scientists label K, L, M, and N. As long as an electron stays in its designated shell, it doesn't lose energy. We now had a stable atom, But one math problem remained. When scientists weighed the nucleus, it was consistently heavier than the combined weight of the positively charged protons inside it. In 1932, a researcher named James Chadwick finally accounted for this missing mass. He discovered a third subatomic particle sitting right inside the nucleus. It weighed about the same as a proton, but it had zero electrical charge. He called it the neutron. Protons and neutrons packed tightly in the center, and electrons locked into stable energy shells orbiting around them. We finally had the complete foundational blueprint of atomic structure. The atom is far from the simple, solid ball John Dalton imagined. It is a highly dynamic, beautifully structured micro-universe. By simply changing the number and arrangement of these three subatomic particles, the proton, neutron, and electron, you get every different element known to science. That specific arrangement dictates chemical reactions, every piece of modern technology, and biological processes in your body. By peering into these invisible depths, scientists discovered the structural rules that govern the physical world. This knowledge provides the framework for understanding how the entire universe is assembled. If you want to keep exploring the invisible forces that shape our world, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to BODHI Classes for more deep dives into the science of everything.